And so, again, because the gentle lady from Georgia, I know is such an advocate for women's rights, as she mentioned, and is so concerned about grooming, and apparently we don't have any standards here anymore. Again, I just want to remind my colleagues, because, you know, I don't want them to forget about hypocrisy, okay? I don't want them to forget about hypocrisy. But, you know, Donald Trump was asked about Jeffrey Epstein, and when he was asked, he said, you know, Jeffrey likes him young. Well, how did the president know that? How did he know that Jeffrey Epstein likes him young? Perhaps some people are saying he was there, since you're so concerned, right? But again, I bring this up not to make jest. I bring it
Point
up,
of order, Mr. Chairman.
I bring it up.
Okay.
I thought we weren't going to interrupt.
We're going to stop the clock. We did this with Ms.
Okay.
Green. State your point.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the impugning of the former president's character. That we
I don't have to do that. He does that himself.
Have we basically thrown that rule out? I'm just curious, or are we going to follow that?
Would you accept a pornographic photo
of Bill Clinton?
Yeah, we suspended the rule to the current president, but we didn't suspend it to the former president. But.
Oh, by the way, please, so you're making the point that we can disparage Joe
right.
Biden, but not Donald Trump. Please make that point to the American people.
Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz holding it down. This was supposed to be the PR stunt where MAGA Republicans were going to hold Hunter Biden in contempt because Hunter Biden took them up on their offer to testify publicly before the MAGA Republican-led committee. But the MAGA Republicans changed their mind and wanted it to only be done in a secret deposition, and Hunter Biden showed up to the hearing, said, I am ready to testify. I'm here. Let the world see what I have to say. I'll testify under oath. No limitations at all. MAGA Republicans would not let him do that, so the Democrats, led by Jared Moskowitz and others who we've been covering here, turned the tables on MAGA Republicans and said, bet. Okay, well, why don't we really talk about what the country should care about right now? And Moskowitz went right to the heart of it, what the media is ignoring, but we got to force them to cover. In fact, who cares what they cover? We're going to cover here on the MeidasTouch Network, and we do when more people are watching it here anyway on the MeidasTouch Network. So let's just get right to the facts. And Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz says, let's talk about Donald Trump. Let's talk about his dirty secrets from the past. Everything with you MAGA Republicans is projection and confession, so you do realize who you are kneeling at the altar for. Watch this clip. Play it.
That now it doesn't work. You come up here and talk about Hunter Biden's behavior, and you're so disgusted. But the guy that you all kneel to, okay, associates himself with a pedophile. But remember, I get
Mr.
it.
Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman, that should be stricken.
I ask his words taken down.
A statement
That
of a
should be
fact, and it's his
stricken.
time.
It's a
Mr. Chairman.
fact.
I asked his words to be taken
Okay,
down.
there's a motion to strike the words.
Yeah.
Yes.
On
Mr.
what
Chairman.
grounds? On what grounds?
Just say that we associate with pedophiles.
No, he was referring to Donald Trump.
No, I said Donald
the man
Trump
just
associates.
said that we all kneel. I kneel to Christ. I stand for the flag.
Support.
And if you're concerned about pornography
I'll change my
public,
word to support.
Mr. Ranking Member, you might look to
No,
the
no,
library.
fair point. No,
content
okay.
That your people
So
support.
you're referring to the kneel down. Donald Trump said that
I
someone
moved for
took the
his
knee.
words to be taken down.
And I think he withdrew
It's
that.
a motion.
I withdraw my.
He withdrew
I
it. He withdrew that. That'll
So,
be taken from
we
the
have to accept him withdrawing it.
record. All right.
Accept
Everybody
it.
good? That's going to be taken
Word
from the record.
withdrawn.
Okay,
Accept.
I withdraw the kneel down. I'll use the word very much support. We okay with that? No snowflakes offended? Okay, wonderful. Anyway.
Yup, a hit dog will holler, and Congressmember Moskowitz has the receipts. And if you've been following our videos on Donald Trump's depraved past, horrific past, horrible conduct in the past that we've been covering here, you know that. And we have the receipts here as well. But first, I want to show you Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz saying to the entire committee led by MAGA Republicans, by a show of hands, Hunter Biden is sitting here. He showed up today. Who wants to hear him testify today? He's ready to go. No MAGA Republican raised their hand, I think, other than Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wanted to show consensual nude photos. And all the Democrats said, yes, let's ask him questions right now. Here, play this clip.
And the chairman gave the witness that option, then the only folks that are afraid to hear from the witness with the American people watching are my friends on the other side of the aisle. I don't know if there's a proper motion, Mr. Chairman, but I'll make a motion. Let's vote. Let's take a vote. Who wants to hear from Hunter right now, today? Anyone? Come on. Who wants to hear from Hunter?
Motion's out of order. Yeah.
No one. So I'm a visual learner, and the visual is clear. Nobody over there wants to hear from the witness. Oh, there's one. Thank you.
Will you yield for a question?
I'm not there yet, but I will eventually. So there's no one, well, other than one or two, that want to hear from the witness. So the majority of my colleagues over there, including the chairman, don't want to hear from the witness with the American people watching. So, Mr. Chairman, I just want to hear from you. Will you acknowledge that you invited the witness on television to choose whether he could come to a public hearing? And do you stand by your words, or do you renege that invitation to the witness?
To answer the question, I've said repeatedly, after the deposition, Mr. Biden can come in front of a public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to play the video, but that is not what you said on television multiple times. We have the quotes. We can put them up. You said the witness can choose between a deposition.
Listen, Mr. Moskowitz, Mr. Biden doesn't make the rules. We make the rules.
Mr. Chairman, you make the rules. And the rule you made is that he can choose.
The rule is...
Those were your words. We're claiming my time.
And here's the things, folks. James Comer, MAGA Republican James Comer, who chairs the House Oversight Committee, he gave away the game a long time ago, or several weeks back. One of the reasons why Comer was like, we're not going to be holding any hearings anymore for this impeachment inquiry, and why he didn't want to hold any public deposition of Hunter Biden, is because he was afraid of Moskowitz and Jamie Raskin and other Democrats getting out the truth. James Comer was afraid that Hunter Biden would look good during the testimony. Just watch what James Comer previously had to say. Here, play this clip.
But, as these congressional investigation, these hearings go, you got 20 members on each side that have 5 minutes each. We have tens of thousands of pages of documents where we need to sit down and ask specific substantive questions without filibustering, without interruptions, without going 5 minutes back and forth with Jamie Raskins and Dan Goldman and little Moskowitz jumping up and down, filing motions and trying to disrupt the committee hearings.
So then there was a point where Marjorie Taylor Greene said that she wanted to introduce photographs on the record, which were the consensual nude photographs of Hunter Biden, because she's absolutely obsessed with introducing consensual nude photographs of Hunter Biden. And by the way, we showed a previous clip of Nancy Mace saying that Hunter Biden has no balls, is what she said. She also said that Hunter Biden has white privilege, is what Nancy Mace said. And then Nancy Mace just made a fool of herself. Then MAGA Republicans proceeded to show nude photos of Hunter Biden at this committee hearing. That's how deranged they are. But I do want to reflect a moment on what Jared Moskowitz was talking about with these MAGA Republicans, that they worship at the altar somebody who makes some of the most disgusting comments in the world, and we've been covering it here on the MeidasTouch network. Here's what Donald Trump said in 2002, just so you have the direct quote of what Moskowitz was referencing. In 2002, Donald Trump told New York Magazine that he thought Jeffrey Epstein was a terrific guy and noted his penchant for pursuing women on the younger side. Quote, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy," Mr. Trump told New York Magazine. "He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the young side." Also, you have Donald Trump appearing 7 times on the flight logs that were released. You also have Donald Trump appearing in the depositions that were released, where one of the victims talked about how they were flying to Atlantic City, and Jeffrey said, "Great. We'll call up Trump and we'll go to, I don't recall the name of the casino, but we'll go to the casino, calling up Trump and bringing a victim there. We then shared with you here on the MeidasTouch Network an article from 1997 by the Sunday Mirror we tracked down. The author is Chris Hutchins, and just because we're very detailed oriented here on the MeidasTouch Network, this article was written November 23rd, 1997. And here's the article right here. Trump's Brit of all right. Just weeks after ditching his second wife, America's best-known billionaire Donald Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl, Trump 50, who has failed in his bid to secure services of Princess Diana's butler, Paul Burrell, was in search of another British trophy when he met London model Anuska DeGeorgia at a party in Manhattan. Several American millionaires already had their eyes on Anuska, but she was there with Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, who has introduced several of her attractive friends to the property developer, referring to Donald Trump. And none of his would-be rivals owned a vast mansion in Florida like Donald does, Mar-a-Lago, where I have dined with him. And his outgoing wife, Marla, is enough to make any young girl go weak at the knees. After their meeting, Trump flew Madam Maxwell. They call her a madam in this article. After their meeting, Trump flew Madam Maxwell and the model south to the Sunshine State, where all three enjoyed a happy weekend together. When they returned to New York, Anuska was installed in one of Donald's many apartments. Miss DeGeorgia likes older men. She went out once or twice with Joanna Lumley's ex-husband, Jeremy Lloyd, who is 45 years her senior. Doubtless, this is the start of a long friendship by Trump standards, at least. This is a disturbing article. And by the way, who's Anuska? She was actually one of the victims of Epstein. Anuska as well. And Ghislaine was the one who made that introduction to Donald Trump. Also, during Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, a witness testified that Jeffrey Epstein drove her to Mar-a-Lago to meet Donald Trump when she was just 14 years old. Another victim testified to that. Oh, and how about, why don't we take Donald Trump's own words right here, where Donald Trump bragged about walking in on teenage girls during the Miss Teen USA competition. Let's take a look at that one right here. Or better yet, there it is. Donald Trump boasted about meeting semi-naked teenagers in beauty pageants. Mr. Trump said on Howard Stern radio show in 2005 he could get away with walking into the dressing room to inspect the beautiful women. And let me just be clear, girls, 14-year-old girls, young girls. Donald Trump used to stroll right in the dressing room of beauty pageants while the contestants, some of whom were teenagers, were naked or half dressed, a former model has claimed. Tasha Dixon was 18 when she competed in the Miss USA pageant, winning the state crown. Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis, Miss Nixon told CBS. He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked. She added that people who worked for Mr. Trump pressured the woman to fawn over him, go walk up to him, talk to him to get his attention while still not fully dressed. Miss Dixon added the situation made them feel awkward and physically vulnerable. Four women who competed in the 1997 Miss Teen USA beauty pageant also said the Republican used to walk in. Some of the girls were as young as 15. And by the way, same year, 1997, as the previous article I read to you, where Ghislaine Maxwell introduced him to Anuska, Madame Maxwell, as she's referred to in the article. Also, here's another article from The Guardian, totally separate from the same exact time period. Teen models, powerful men, and private dinners. When Trump hosted, this is what it looked like. In the early 1990s, Donald Trump judged the world's biggest modeling competition, since hit by allegations of abuse. This is how the people who were there remember it. On September 1, 1991, a large private yacht cruised towards the Statue of Liberty. It was a clear, breezy evening, and from the upper deck of the Spirit of New York, a golden sunset could be seen glinting off the Manhattan skyline. Downstairs, a party was in flow. Scores of teenage girls in evening dresses and miniskirts, some as young as 14, danced under the disco lights. It could have been a high school prom were it not for the crowd of older men surrounding them. As the evening wore on, some of the men, many old enough to be the girls' fathers or even grandfathers, joined them on the dance floor, pressing themselves against the girls. One balding man in a suit wrapped his arms around two young models, leering into the film camera that was documenting the evening. Quote, "Can you get some beautiful women around me, please?" The party aboard the Spirit of New York was one of several events that Donald Trump, then 45, attended with a group of 58 aspiring young models that September, young girls on this boat. They had traveled from around the world to compete in this competition. And I don't get how you get more disgusting than Donald Trump's conduct there. Well, let's use go, Ben, you're reading articles. Do we have any of this in Donald Trump's own word? We heard what Congressmember Moskowitz has to say. You're reading us articles, Ben, but I need you to play it for me in Donald Trump's own words. Okay, why don't I do that? This is Donald Trump going on the Howard Stern show, talking about walking in on teenage girls during the competitions that he would hold. Play this clip.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like
this. Is what Donald Trump had to say about the 18-year-old Lindsay Lohan. Play the clip.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan now?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck, like the way he is.
Right.
You imagine the sex with this troubled...
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women...
Yes.
Deeply troubled.
Right.
They're always the best in bed. If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable.
I could tell from the...
You don't want to be with them for the long term, but for the short term, there's nothing.
This is what Donald Trump had to say about a 12-year-old Paris Hilton. Play the clip.
Really beautiful is Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton. And I've known Paris Hilton from the time she's 12.
She's hot.
Her parents are friends of mine. And, the first time I saw her, she walked into the room and said, "Who the hell is that?"
Did you want to bang her?
She is at 12, I wasn't interested. I've never been into that.
Right.
They've sort of always stuck around that 25 category.
But even at 12, you were kind of
No,
like,
but
wow,
I
she's hot.
saw at 12 she was beautiful. But honestly, Paris gets knocked and this and that. But she's very beautiful. Her
Is she
skin
dumb?
is flawless. She's dumb like a fox.
Have you seen the video, the sex video?
I have seen it.
You did. What'd you do? You went on the internet?
it was just
How did you see that? What did you do?
Melania showed it to me.
She did?
She showed it to me.
What did you think of that?
I think it's probably unfortunate, and perhaps it made... What is that noise?
That's the tape.
And this is what Donald Trump had to say when Trump was in office when asked about Ghislaine Maxwell. He wished her well. Play this clip.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and so a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Yeah, that's Donald Trump wishing Madame Maxwell well. And perhaps legacy media or major media, whatever you want to call it, perhaps they don't want to cover that. But Jared Moskowitz is right on the target right there, because character matters. And when these MAGA Republicans are kneeling at the altar for their cult leader, Donald Trump, these are the things that need to be pointed out, in addition to all of the other things we've been sharing with you here on the MeidasTouch Network, as well as all of the other things the Democratic members of the committees have been saying. So hat tip to Jared Moskowitz for bringing that out on the floor of the House of Representatives, while Marjorie Taylor Greene tried to show nude consensual photos of Hunter Biden. And by the way, Did you remember, or did you remember that first clip I shared with you at the beginning of this video? Notice what the MAGA Republicans were saying too, that they instituted a rule where you can't criticize Donald Trump in the committee, but you can criticize President Biden. How Orwellian, dystopian, fascist can you absolutely get? Folks, let's get the facts out together. Do you feel the momentum? I feel the momentum shifting in a big way. Now let's spread the videos, share the videos. Whether you post these videos on all of your social media, share with friends, family, coworkers, anybody you know, you're going to be the difference in this election. You are. Share these videos, leave a comment, post it on social media, let people know what's up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. I'm Ben Meiselas. Thank you for watching, and you can check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, and have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.